In my Soul Calibur 6 video, I suggested adding the character Giselle to the game, who would fight using playing cards, which inspired viewer Michael Morris to propose that weapon as its own video topic, and I like that idea. Playing cards are yet another harmless item that fiction has made into a deadly weapon. They can be ready for a game of poker and a duel to the death. So I'm going over the coolest characters in all media that find ways to make your standard 52 card deck, jokers included, into viable tools in battle. To specify, it's fine if they use magic or technology to enhance the power of their cards, as long as they use at least one playing card as a weapon or device in some sort of duel. Cards like tarot cards or magical cards that can summon something like monsters will be ineligible for this list. Only hearts, spades, numbers, and royalty on the cards used here. And to get us in the mindset for this topic, I'm going to do a card trick. Co-host girl, pick a random card from this deck and I'll guess what it is.
Okay.
Your card is the 7 of Diamonds.
No, it's the Diamond Girl!
What? This is a brand new deck. Where did you even find that?
And now I sacrifice my princess at Tsurugi to summon her!
Stop going off script. You were just supposed to say it was a 7 and be amazed.
And thanks to the 2 Dark Magicians in my graveyard, her attack points raised by 600!
Huh, a futile effort. That's still not enough attack to wipe out my life points, and little does she know, once I summon my Jack of Spades next turn, his effect will destroy her Dark Magician girl and leave her field wide open for a direct attack.
I'm not done yet.
Nani?
And by equipping the Book of Secret Arts, I can raise her attack points to 2,900.
But that means...
Now attacking directly! Dark Burning Attack!
This is impossible!
I never win anything. What do winners say?
They read the title card.
These are the top 10 characters who fight with playing cards. Number 10.
Okay, I'm back. Number 10, Bullseye from Marvel Comics. The assassin Bullseye has the cool power of being able to hit any target from any distance with any throwable item. One of his favorite tools includes cards. While he throws all 52, he primarily uses the Ace of Spades. He loves holding it for the photo ops and throws multiple copies of it. He probably stacks his deck with the Ace of Spades, that cheater. Remind me never to play poker with him again, also because he tries tossing cards at my jugular every time we play. Bullseye's only downfall on this list is that he decides to use more practical weapons when utilizing his skill in lieu of the cards. What's with these knives being thrown when you could clearly be tossing a card? What's wrong, Bullseye? Run out of aces? Is it too embarrassing to throw a 10 of clubs? Number 9, Suzuki from Yu Yu Hakusho. This man is a prize machine. He built a team of weak demons by giving them items to make them formidable in battle, and then gives out even more items to Team Urameshi. His playing card item, though, is pretty bland when compared to everything else he has. However, I still find it memorable for some reason, probably because it was coincidentally a card in the Yu Yu Hakusho trading card game that I played back in middle school and I ran it in my deck. Random nostalgia aside, the card fits with Suzuki's initial clown jester theme. Outside his clothes and rainbow attack, the card was the only other thing that really embraced this motif. The attack's just a one-off gag, but I like it. Suzuki demands that the beautiful has to be said before his name when addressing him. So when Kodo the announcer just calls him Suzuki, he swiftly throws a fatal Ace of Spades at her. She dodges it and it pierces some random demon behind her and kills him. Later, his corpse with the card is still in the stands anytime they cut back to Kodo, now with a halo. We never see Suzuki apply this in battle though, so yeah, only number 9. And once again, we have another character I can't play a simple game of bridge with if I don't want to risk a traumatic head injury via card.
Oh my god, can you imagine if you were just playing a card game with someone and they said, oh, I'm just gonna throw this into your brain right now. Game over.
Which card game in particular?
I wish I had more card references, but I don't know how to play any card game. Oh, Jin Rumi, that's a card game. I don't know how to play it, but I know it exists in culture.
Number 8, the Joker from Batman. With an iconic villain who has seen many unique iterations, there have been plenty of Joker variations that use cards as a weapon. The Joker generally is not a fighter, so the cards are more meant to be hindrances to distract Batman from his big trap nearby. He has more lethal tools if he just feels like killing. His most practical battle card was in Batman the Animated Series, being an exploding card with knockout gas, specifically saved for the Ace of Spades. Top 10 characters that fight with the Ace of Spades is looking like a good name for this list right now. The reason so many characters are fond of it is because the Ace of Spades represents the card of death in folklore. In his fighting game appearances, the Mortal Kombat vs. DC Joker was the only one that threw playing cards as his projectile, and even as a fatality. I wish that would return in Injustice, but I'll settle for his Chattering Teeth bombs instead. Overall, the Joker gets much more mileage out of playing cards for his mind games, using the Joker cards as business cards. It's either the most or least clever visual gag he does. He just leaves Joker cards all over Gotham City to taunt about which crimes he successfully pulled off.
If he leaves all his cards around Gotham City, doesn't that mean he's littering?
Yes, littering is the most heinous crime the Joker has ever done.
Yeah, my gosh, he needs a ticket.
Number 7, Tubalcain Alhambra, aka the Dandy Man from Hellsing Ultimate.
He looks shifty. His eyes, his fangs, the smoke coming out of his pores.
It's probably because he has an ace hidden up his sleeve, along with the entire rest of the deck, and he's an evil vampire Nazi murderer, so trustworthy he is not. He basically has standard magic abilities with a card theme. Instead of a normal teleport, he can just turn into cards and rematerialize somewhere else. Instead of making a standard force field, he forms a ring of cards around him to block bullets, and then he can throw those cards to slice bullets in half. I don't really see a pattern to how he uses his cards. They're simply multifunctional. He just snaps his fingers and they fly around like homing missiles. I guess the most basic usage he gets out of them is having the cards explode on impact.
That's how you light things on fire. That's dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, he controls when they go off. He doesn't just put a deck in his pocket and boom, they accidentally explode.
Oh, how convenient.
Number 6, Yami Yugi from Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0. Everyone knows Yami for his Deus Ex Machina Duel Monsters deck, but in the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime, usually called Season 0, Yami shows us the power of the old-fashioned deck of cards.
That's a trading card game. I can't summon the Queen of Spades. When I tried summoning the Queen of Spades in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament, they told me that was an illegal move and I cried. It was sad. And again, most things make me cry. That's not that weird. Not weird for me, but maybe weird for them.
No, he used it for something else. Duel monsters weren't involved yet. Instead, Yami would take his immoral victims into a penalty game. Here, the loser could die in a horrific way. In the first episode, Yami makes a sinister impression on us by challenging the bully Ushio to one of these games of darkness. In a badass sequence, Yami magically ties them both to a rope and slides down the side of the building they're tied to, spreading a full deck of cards. The rules, they take turns picking a card. The value on the card allows them to climb up that many paces of the tower. Simultaneously, the other player is lowered by the same value. The winner reaches the top of the tower and gets the money waiting there. After all of the tense card flipping, Yami wins this card duel of luck, but Ushio cheats by just climbing to the top anyway since he wants his money.
Cheating is wrong!
Then Yami punishes him by breaking the rope. Have a nice evening. Was the trade-off worth it? He sees there's now water surrounding the building, and he has the positive outlook of, oh, I'll just float and be able to swim my way out of this. I'm being logical. However, the foreboding music would indicate otherwise.
And you think maybe he's just gonna drown or snap his neck, but no! He falls into these snake worms with teeth, giant teeth.
Then we see it was all an illusion and Yami completed his goal of traumatizing a guy with a deck of cards. While this is not a physical use of cards, I definitely found it to be a good way to mentally fight someone using playing cards. And if you think this entry bends the rules a bit too much, then just pretend number 6 was Johnny from Guilty Gear. He was almost an entry. Here's a short version of how it would have gone. He throws a Joker card at you, entraps you in it, and slashes it in half. Plus, he has style.
Whoa, what is up with his belt? And why does he have a jacket but not a shirt? What's he holding? Is it just a pole?
That's his Yaido sword.
Where's the pointy bit? What's a Yaido?
Truly, this segment could have had our best banter ever. Number 5, King Dice from Cuphead. I was initially thinking about putting the Queen of Hearts guards from Alice in Wonderland here, but King Dice's marching cards do the same thing and are much more effective. They only walk towards you but cannot get hurt at all. They just keep doing their job, so you're forced to avoid them in any other way possible. Now, if only they could move in a direction that is not just horizontally in front of them, otherwise it would be the perfect attack. Number 4, Oswald from King of Fighters. Oswald is straight up cool. Look at the way he dresses, look at the way he holds his cards, even his losing pose is kind of cool, even his hobby is... well, I'm not sure about that, but it's peaceful at least. He's a former professional assassin, and for whatever reason, he uses cards as blades. I don't think it's ever explained why he uses them, outside of that he's just really good at card games, but who cares? All these attacks are a joy to perform, with the giant slash marks and techniques likely from his younger days as a hitman.
For being an old man, he's quite agile. Oh no, he fell. Oh, I hope he didn't break his back.
To be fair, his motivation for fighting in King of Fighters 11 was to get medicine for his illness through the former main character by being on his team, but then King of Fighters 14 came out and his motivation was now the fans wanted him to return, forget the backstory. Number 3, Gambit from the X-Men. Gambit has the mutant ability of infusing items with kinetic energy. He also has the hand-eye coordination ability of throwing playing cards with precision. Now imagine if he could combine those skills. You don't have to, he already does. Gambit is made of pure cool. He's really just throwing cards in many directions like some of the lower entries on this list, but he always has the best action poses when doing so. The fact that he uses cards with his kinetic energy ability actually shows great discipline on his end, since if he puts too much energy into an item, it will explode. With his power control, he now has the equivalent of Shuriken made of pure energy, and that's essentially all he does with the cards. Regardless, I feel that Gambit was a character that helped popularize weaponized playing cards in my generation, with how prominent he was in 90s X-Men media, along with the prominence of X-Men as a whole. Isn't that right, Judgment Meter? Do you have any great memories of Gambit?
I love the Gambit. That's where we see Arrow and Sarah together for the first time. And then everybody dies, but nobody dies. And he's lost at sea for 4 years, and then Sarah's lost at sea, but really, they're on the same island. They're not on the same island, she's still on...
Hold on, that's the wrong comic universe. That's the Arrowverse, and that's not even a human, that's a boat.
Look at that!
Number 2, Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. It's like Suzuki was the prototype for Hisoka, based on the fact they both have the same creator and Suzuki's lone card was turned into Hisoka's primary weapon. He does the cool anime thing where he slashes his card in a circular motion and all the opponents fall at once, but we've seen plenty of characters with razor-sharp cards that slice, dice, and impale. What makes Hisoka more interesting is that he combines this lethality with the sleight of hand that card tricks are known for. In one of his bigger fights, he uses his cards as a distraction for his elaborate sneak attack. After allowing his arm to get severed, he does a sleight of hand magic trick where he turns his disembodied limb into cards. When diverted, Hisoka sets up a trap with his bungee gum. He then performs one more trick that ends with him pulling a card out of his open wound. Now he uses that card as a final distraction when he supposedly reattaches his arm and then overwhelms his opponent with cards and force alike. It's a great combination of the ways we've seen cards used in both physical and mental battles, though I'd be pretty uneasy to shove a card in my gaping wound for the sake of a trick, but it worked out for him, so what do I know? Hisoka, you do you.
I'm sure a lot of people would like to do him.
Now to number 1. A lot of these characters...
I said something inappropriate! You didn't comment on it! Come on!
Oh, do you want me to respond? That was a suggestive comment, just like Hisoka is in the anime.
Never mind. Play the video.
A lot of these characters discussed have a theme that works with playing cards, like clowns, casino owners, or magic. But number 1's theme is, we are the cards, we've come to life. And the Batman universe is involved once again. Number 1, the Royal Flush Gang from DC Comics, most notably the Batman Beyond series. This gang of villains has been around since the 1960s, and the older versions get their job done of being mid-tier antagonists. They were a family of 5 named after the 5 highest card values in the deck. Generally, King was the leader and Ace was the muscle, and a robot. Each generation brings in new family members as the King, Queen, Jack, pack and 10 with portraits taken on giant playing cards because theme. Of all their imaginings, the Batman Beyond version of the gang did the most justice to their characters. They each had one base tool they'd use, like swords or electric scepters. And when that failed, they'd pull out some weapon made of a playing card because theme again. They had a massive array of card weaponry. We didn't even have to question how it was possibly made since it had the easy explanation of it's the future, technology can do anything now. It all starts with their mode of transportation being flying playing card surfboard things, and if you needed it to double as a weapon, you could just land on or ram into your opponent. Then they had the standard bladed cards for cutting and throwing as their alternative main weapon. Other than that, the cards do whatever fits the plot. They can stretch and tie up people on their own. One has knockout gas in it like the Joker's, another can be set as a trap and zap whoever finds it. And this one's a bomb that has way more explosive power than something of its magnitude should have. I guess the skull indicates it's the most powerful card. It kinda takes away from any tact you would have when using it with the less lethal cards. And if you want to count it as a card attack, their costumes make it as if the designs of the cards jumped out of the deck to pummel you. All my approval of them doesn't even include the small character arc with Ten and Terry. However, this list is all about the card-based fighting and mind games, so I'll leave it off here with the Royal Flush Gang topping off this list. So, what did you think? Agree? Disagree? Who are some of your favorite fighters that wield the mighty playing card? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and we will see you in the next video.